Hey YouTube, what's going on? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update today of Ethereum, EOS, and Digibyte. So those are three we're going to go over today. Guys, first of all, I want to let you know this is 2:27 p.m. Eastern Time. It's October 15th, 2019. I'm going to be releasing this a little bit later tonight, so I just wanted to point that out that this is 2:27 p.m. Eastern Time is what we're looking at right now, because obviously, you know, in this space, things can change so fast. And what we're going to be doing here, guys, is starting with Ethereum, then we'll hit that EOS, and we'll go to Digibyte. So we'll just do them in that order there. And if you like me doing these, guys, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Appreciate you all being here with me today, and we'll dig into this. So with Ethereum, main thing I'm looking at, guys, paying very close attention to is this purple trend line right here. So obviously, this is a valid trend line because of how much fight we've had back and forth over this trend line. You can see we basically tweezer bottom down here. We came back up, we fought, we tried to get up over the 50-day moving average. We got up over top of it, and then Bitcoin ended up dumping a little bit, and we started to go back down. And now what we're trying to do is close a candle today up above that trend line again. We don't want to see a close below it, because typically, guys, what you'll pay attention to, or what you'll notice, is you want to have a 3% close on your candle down past the trend line for it to be valid. All the books that I read about trend lines and trend line breaks, so the candle needs to close 3% below or above the trend line for it to be valid. So always pay close attention to that. But you can see the big fight we're having. Yesterday we got back up over top of this 50-day moving average, had a nice candle close up above it, and then today we're getting dropped back down a little bit, and you can see how we tested that trend line again. So this is a very valid trend line, and we want to make sure that we stay up above it if we're going to be moving to the upside. Now to the upside, what we would need to get over top of, main area I'm going to look at, is the 0.618 on the Fibonacci. What happened was we broke down through it with conviction on heavy volume right here, and we came down, we hit those tweezer bottoms, we came back up, we closed a couple days up above it here, and then we fell back down. But we would need to start having candle closes back up above the 0.618, and then it's going to be coming up here to tackle this 200-day moving average. So we'd look at $190, then we're going to look at 204 as overhead resistance. So those are the upside targets. Downside targets, we would basically want to see from the candle bodies, we would want about $167 on the downside to hold, and we want to find support off that. Right now you can see the volume's been very low as we've been in this downtrend, and basically, guys, we have been in an intermediate term downtrend. What we have here is lower highs and lower lows coming in. So we would first need to get up over that 0.618 and that high of around $192. Then we would need to take out, obviously, this 200-day moving average, but this next lower high right here, which is going to be around $223, is going to be extremely important for us. But I'm just paying very close attention to price action and moving averages in this Fibonacci. Now I'm going to throw on a couple indicators here for us. We're going to look at our relative strength index. Relative strength is at 47, starting to go down a little bit here. You can see how we pushed up, we came back down, set a nice higher low there, but we came up and we set a lower high, and now it's looking like we're getting pushed down a little bit. We're at 47 though right now, so just a little more neutral, kind of floating in that neutral territory. So there's plenty of room to the upside or the downside, whichever way we end up breaking here, whichever the way the whale wants to push it is what's going to happen. Next one I wanted to look at was our Bollinger Bands. And the reason I wanted to look at these is because we want to look to see if they're getting tight. Typically, if they start getting tight, guys, you're going to be looking for a breakout to the upside or the downside. Yeah, you can see the band starting to tighten here. You can see how they expanded when we had this beautiful move up here. And now what's happening is they're getting tight again. And typically when they get tight, just like over here, they'll break. And like I said, guys, you have to have a plan for the upside. You have to have a plan for the downside, because all these bands are going to do is show you when that break could potentially be coming. It's not going to tell you which way it's going to break. You have to wait for the whale to make its move, and then you want to jump on the coattails as soon as possible. That's the key. As soon as possible, get on there. So in terms of Ethereum, guys, that's what I want to see, a candle close up above this trend line today. That's going to be important. If it does close to the downside, really look at that 3% rule. That can save you a lot, because a lot of times you'll have fake outs and, you know, fake out breakouts and all different types of stuff that you need to pay attention to. So guys, if you like Ethereum, like that one, let me know down below if you want me to keep covering it. Next one we're going to go to is EOS. See here, and as you can see, guys, here's some of the stocks, different things I'm looking at. So there's EOS. We are at $2.94 right now. And what's going on with EOS, you can see where I have my alert right here I have an alarm at $3.54. And guys, the reason why I have that is we've been in an intermediate term downtrend for EOS as well. We have those lower highs and lower lows coming in, and now what we're seeing is rejection at this trend line. So what we were hoping or looking for is that we could have had a breakout to the upside and had a nice 3% candle close up above this moving average to where we could maybe come up here and start challenging that $4.16, then around that 200-day moving average at $4.27. But right now it's looking like we're actually having some rejection off this trend line, and we're starting to fall to the downside a little bit. So I do want to keep that on your radar and just pay attention to this trend line and see what happens, because if we see major rejection, what we could have is another lower high, or I'm sorry, another lower low. You see here how we've had these lower lows coming in, so the next leg down would probably put us somewhere in the area of about $2.22 if we are to break to the downside. Right? To the upside, what we would need is the trend line break, and then for us to get up above the 50-day moving average as well, which is going to be around $3.36. That's acting as overhead resistance, and then that 200-day. But guys, that's what needs to happen, is that we have to change the trend. We need to start having those higher highs and higher lows out of this trend line. We need a substantial trend line break on volume that's equivalent to this. So do you see this volume to the downside, how we had a candle like that? We need that to the upside with a breakout out of here. So I'm paying close attention to EOS, because anytime you get close to these trend lines, anything can happen, guys. It could be that massive dump down, or you could have that really strong break out of there. And what we're going to do is look at a couple indicators. Let's take a look at our relative strength index. RSI is starting to point down. We're at 40 right now, and typically, guys, once you drop down below that 40, it can act as overhead resistance, and sometimes it's hard to break back up above that 40. So keep that one on your radar as well. Next one, let's take a look at is our MACD. MACD, we are still in the positive, so we did have our bullish cross, and our bullish cross took place at about $2.95. We pushed up a little bit more than that. We're still up above. Histogram now, though, is starting to tick to the negative a little bit, so keep an eye on that. And then let's do our stock RSI. Stock RSI, we had a bearish cross to the downside, and that ended up taking place at around 90 up here. Right now we are at 62 and 70 on the stock RSI, and we're just waiting to see, guys, next time. So a lot of times what you'll see is you'll have a big break to the downside right here, and it'll get ridden pretty hard all the way to the bottom to this oversold territory, and then you'll wait for that bullish cross to the upside and then try to ride that up. But right now it is pointing down, so pay attention to that. Guys, that's EOS. That's basically what I'm waiting for. If we get a trend line break, I got my alarm set at $3.54. I want to know, because that would take out this little lower high that we've had. And then to the downside, I would want to see around, we'll call it $2.22 hold, where we had this previous support area. Guys, next one we're going to go to is Digibyte. Let me get up here. All right. So with Digibyte, we are still holding support, and that's around that 0.00722 is what we call it right here in purple. So we do still have that support, and what it looked like, guys, was almost a double bottom, and you can see how there were several months in between. Sometimes that can be it can show strength. If there's a big gap between, and then you basically find support on the same area, that can show some strength. And what started to happen with Digibyte, which was exciting, but we're not getting the follow through that we wanted right now. So we broke up through these moving averages, the 9 in orange, the 9 EMA, the 20 EMA, and then we broke through that 50 moving average. We had a nice candle close up above it, and then you see all these wicks that came in. And this is the bears defending. They're pushing down on the bulls as they're trying to break out. So now we're starting to fall to the downside. We had a lot of candles in here, guys, long leg dojis. We had a shooting star candle, we had a doji up here, and now we're having a bearish engulfing candle. But what we would want to see is for us to be able to close still up above this 50-day moving average in this 20. I don't want to start closing back below these, because that would show rejection, and this would be a false break. It'd basically be like a 5% fake out, where we break out, you go up about 5%, and then you start getting pushed to the downside again, so almost a false breakout. So pay attention to the candles that are forming today and the next few days, guys. We need to stay up above these moving averages, because we're trying to change the trend. Throughout this entire downtrend that we've been dealing with, lower highs, lower lows, and now we were finally starting to change that. You see how we came up here and then we set a higher low with a bullish engulfing candle off support, started to get pushed up to the upside. So we need to see some type of higher low here and then potentially a higher high to the upside is what I'm going to be looking at for Digibyte. So really pay attention to that 0.00722. We want to have that act as support. Couple indicators for Digibyte. First, we'll start out with our relative strength. Relative strength starting to point to the downside here. You can see how it almost looked like a little double top there. We're at 51, so we're a little more neutral on that. Plenty of room either to the upside or the downside. A lot can happen there. MACD. Let's see here, get that out of the way. MACD. We had our nice bullish cross to the upside. You can see that was in this move here. And now we're starting, the histogram starting to go to the negative. Let me zoom in on that a little bit here. And we're starting to get that little curve right up top. It has not crossed to the downside yet though, guys. And a lot of times you can go up like this. You can start look like you're going to cross through the signal line, then actually bounce off it. So it's just too early to tell right there. And then let's do our awesome oscillator, looking at the histogram. So histogram went to the positive. We had a nice little flip over from the negative here, but now we're starting to get one of those red bars, which obviously is correlating with today, is what you're seeing. So guys, that's what I wanted to bring you here. I'm going to try to do the best I can to get out, 4 or 5 different coins. I know some people wanted to see Neo, that type of stuff. I'll try my best, but right now I'm just going to be able to get out what I can get out. I got another business as well that I'm running, and I'm just very busy constantly. So I try to do the best that I can for you. I want to get 1 to 2 videos out a day, and we'll just see what we can do. So if you like me covering these 3, let me know down below. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. God bless each and every one of you.